Live. Start our timer. All right.
Cheers.
Cheers. All right. Philotimo, number 8. We purposefully did not choose a subject for this one because we wanted to kind of just mess around. We wanted a little bit of a break. Now, I have, in the last 2 hours, kind of decided what we're going to talk about, or at least how we're going to start. Sam has absolutely no idea. And the only reason I chose this specific topic is because it ticked me off.
Okay. Great starting point.
So, COVID.
Yes.
The new strain, Omicron. Omicron?
Yep.
Greeks out there, I'm sorry. Obviously, we're naming each strain off of a Greek letter.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Now, for this one, they skipped 2 letters. I don't know if you knew that. Did you know that?
No, not aware.
Most people probably don't.
Yep.
And this is what ticks me off. The 2 letters they skipped. Nu, spelled N-U, because it might be too confusing with N-E-W.
Okay.
And the second letter that they skipped is Gazai.
How? What? Okay.
Which is spelt X-I.
Oh, okay.
Like G.
Yeah.
Leader of China.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah. And I think it was the WHO said they didn't want any, like, they didn't want, there was something where when they came up with their original naming process, they didn't want to put any, like,
general association to anything.
To like any region or something of that nature. The whole reason this ticks me off and the whole reason this is so dumb is because it is a microcosm of what I believe to be the fact that people are super fucking dumb. They're fake. They don't live in truth.
Sure.
And you're constantly lied to. Like yes, on an individual level. Mm-hmm. Like, you know,
that varies, right?
Yeah.
Right.
But on a macrocosmic level, you are constantly being lied to about almost everything, and it simply because people are just weak, pathetic weasels. You know,
they're just scared of reality that the truth is going to take you to.
A lot of people don't live in truth. And if you want to truly live the best life you possibly can, you have to just accept that much of humanity and existence is not based on reality. Mm-hmm. And there's so many people that just keep perpetuating that, and they don't do their research. They don't know what they're talking about. They rely on pleasure and emotions. And that is the gas and oil in their engine. And that is just how they...
it gets us literally nowhere.
Yes, and that is how much of the world operates. And this is a perfect example of that.
Dude.
And so
what was the is this Greek or Latin? Greek word that's the same as G?
Oh, Zagai.
Zagai?
I think it's Zagai.
Something like that.
Oh, Gazai.
Gazai, okay.
Gazai.
Dude, the fact that we can't say it because it's G is like the same thing as what happened in South Park. You familiar with what happened in South Park?
No.
Oh my gosh. I love this. This is, like, I don't really watch South Park much, but, like, this is the pinnacle of why they are phenomenal at what they do. So I don't remember exactly when it was. Maybe it was before COVID. And they had an episode where they were making fun of Xi Jinping for being Winnie the Pooh. Oh, that was the thing. China canceled anybody calling Xi Jinping Winnie the Pooh. Yeah, so what does South Park do? Make a whole episode about making fun of that.
Of course, yeah.
They are instantly canceled from China, right?
Good.
That week, they're canceled.
Good.
the following week, they make the whole episode about the end of it. They're trying to get Stan's dad to say, fuck the Chinese government. That's it. Like, they're just trying to get him to do that. And by the end of it, of course, they do. And they say it like 20 more times throughout the episode because they're like, oh, you want to cancel us? Great. Screw you.
Okay.
See, that to me is like how you should handle things. Like, dude, people make crap up all the time and they run stupid narratives and they take it all directions that are totally useless. Yep. If you can poke fun at things, and actually that's kind of a good little tangent. Like, that's comedy in and of itself, right? Like, how far can we take every little thing that maybe we shouldn't make fun of, but we're gonna because it's funny, right?
If you can't, I think you hear a lot of like Bill Burr and Joe Rogan and those guys talk about stuff like this, but comedy's like the last bastion of, I shouldn't use the word bastion because I don't even know what that word truly means.
Sure.
You know? They're the last
line of...
They're the last like frontier of freedom. You know, their comedy is, as soon as you cannot make fun of things, you are no longer free. And
yes,
I think the reason this ticks me off so much is because who cares who it offends? Like, you're slowly crushing freedom, like in every sense, a spiritual level. Like, no, you're not crushing my freedom on a legal sense by not naming this virus strain, you know, this mutation of it. You know, no, that's not impeding my freedom. But what you're doing is you're killing the human spirit of our ability to be true and just be like, hey, these people thousands of years ago created this alphabet that we've been naming this virus off of, but we're going to offend that person over there if we don't use this letter, so we're not going to do it. It's like, shut the fuck up.
Dude, for real.
Use it. Like, comedy's like, if you can't be... like, this, for example. I don't really know where I'm going with this, but... You know, everyone gives Hitler a really bad rap, right? You know, for good reason. He was a terrible person, you know?
For sure.
But you know what they don't give him enough credit for? Killing tons of Jews. You know what I mean? Okay, so obviously a joke, right?
Horrible joke.
Terrible joke. But here's the point. Is like, you know it's a joke. And I can legally say that.
Yeah.
But that's just it. It's like, you're drawing light to the terrible things in a humorous way. It's like, okay, that's what made Hitler bad.
Right.
But the joke is turning it so that, like, that's the only good thing he did.
Right,
you know, like,
right.
You take this reality and you're like, if you can't speak freely, if you can't, like, yeah, I'm sure that joke is probably very inappropriate in about 99% of the circles in the world.
Yeah. And there's a limited time where you tell that.
Exactly. And like, I'm saying this to you because you know I'm joking.
Yes.
Nobody watches this podcast, so I'm not going to offend anyone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like, let's say I were walking onto Joe Rogan's podcast, that would probably be a very inappropriate joke to say, seeing as how about 2 to 3 million people would watch that episode over the first 6 to 12 months. You know? So obviously, yes, there's a time and a place for every show.
For sure.
You know, a priest in the middle of a sermon telling an appropriate joke would be any joke, really. Like, other than like maybe like a little bit of wit, light wit in there would be like, Father, you're funny, you know? But like, you know, it'd be like, there's a time and a place.
Right.
But I can say that.
Yeah, for sure.
And as soon as you inhibit each other from speaking freely, or you like, oh, we don't want to offend this person, so we're not. It's like you're destroying. You're
eroding the human soul and our ability to function at any level of capacity.
You're distorting what truth is. You are distorting life, really. You know, because life is just good truth and beauty. Let's just say, and I'm going to say truth, like as the pinnacle of that.
I would agree.
It is true. Like, you can't deny. It's like, is it terrible watching a leopard attack a gazelle and rip its jugular out? Yeah, but guess what? That happened. That's what happens, and that is what's going to happen unless you kill all of the gazelle or all of the jaguars. And why are you going to do that?
Right.
You know, like, this is just how nature is. You know, and like, yes, we can be better people. Not
right. We're conscious beings. We don't need to be the worst of what we are.
But guess what? A virus comes. I'm not a. What is it? Virologist. I don't know. I don't even know. I'm so uneducated that I don't even know what the word is.
I don't even know what I'm not.
I don't even know who studies these things. Who are you people?
What are you doing?
Help us. So I don't know how they go. But you get a virus. Guess what? That virus don't give.
Oh, it doesn't even.
Does not care.
No.
Does not care. Virus don't care. Virus do not care. Dude,
you're not my bro, dude.
Bro, you're not my guy. Dude, you're not my pal, buddy. It doesn't care. It's gonna kill you.
Yeah.
You know, that's
it's just doing it's functioning as it functions.
It's not trying to kill you. It's just, hey, dude, I'm a virus. Sorry you got in my way. Like,
right.
Sorry you can't handle me, bro.
I'm going to spread. That's what I do.
Yeah, it's like Genghis Khan.
Yeah.
You know, it's like
Genghis Khan is the virus of human beings.
Dude, it is what it is. But that's just life. And like, this is obviously going to be an absolute stretch at this point, but would you get offended by the virus? Like, let's say COVID, for example. Would you get offended by COVID?
I don't even know how you physically can.
Well, it's bad though. It's hurting people. It's killing people.
Yeah.
Does that offend you?
I mean, like, I get your questioning, but like, I don't even know how to answer that appropriately.
Correctly. Exact.
Yeah.
Because what I meant to say was correct, exactly. You know, not exact, correctly. What? Fuck it. Never mind. I'm confused myself. The point is that life is life.
Yeah.
And to get offended by it is just, it's mind-boggling.
Like, yeah, here's the thing. We're all going to be offended. Like, that's going to happen. Things are going to happen to you that will directly offend you. Like, think about how certain people respond in situations that is totally opposite of how you would respond to it. And it's like, you freaking idiot. Why are you doing that? But they can do that.
Yeah.
They can function. I'm not going to impede them from doing it. Devoid of it physically damaging or harming someone, then yeah, go at it. You can say whatever you want. You can make whatever stupid decision impacts yourself however you'd like. Like, that's life, man.
Yeah.
That is the entirety of the stupid that is human beings.
The problem starts when you start opposing truth or getting offended by truth.
Yeah.
And like going to the, what do they keep calling this? The Omicron. That's how much I don't care about COVID.
Oh.
Like, I don't even know what this new strain is. But by switching that, like, it's like, oh, we don't want to offend. It's like, yeah, but you're going against truth. Like, this is just an alphabet that you guys decided to use.
Exactly.
Like, you decided to use this.
Like, nobody did the long-term thinking to go 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, that might be a problem.
Yeah. 6. What is that? 15? Like, Gazai's like 15. Like, oh, we can only have 14 variations of this. Have we ever had 14 variations of a virus before? No, there's never only been 14 variations. Like, oh, well, shit, we probably shouldn't use this alphabet. Like,
yeah, that goes further to human capacity of stupidity, man.
I can't, dude. Last night, I listened to a girl complain for 15 minutes about her genetics and how she felt bad because half of her genetics violated the other half of her genetics.
It's like
300 years ago. I was like,
dude,
I literally listened to this for like 12 minutes, dude. I was like, shut up. Like, shut up, dude.
That's not a one-off. That happens, right? Like, people get all offended for past events. It's like, dude, you're the result of those past events. Do you like not want to exist?
Yeah.
Are you that narcissistic that like
you are the direct result? Like,
it's like you hate yourself, or which part do you hate?
And it's like, and literally there's something you can do to get around this, to not get offended. There's one thing you can do, which is like, oh, that happened then. This is now.
Yes. What am I doing with my life now?
Yeah. What am I doing to be a good person?
Right.
Literally, this girl was in such a mind entanglement about something that didn't matter. Her genetics. Like, it's like, okay, those genetics gave you blue eyes. Those genetics gave you brown hair.
Mm-hmm.
And that's about it. You know, like,
Right.
and that's about where that ends.
Right.
You know, like, but she was just in such a conflict that first off, she didn't know how she felt.
Right.
She didn't know the point she was trying to make. She didn't have a point.
Mm-mm.
She was just...
she was just like viscerally upset about it and then just wanted to express that.
She was frothing around. Like, if froth can just...
exist
go around. Yeah, if something can froth around, it was just, there wasn't even misdirection. There was nothing. It was just
right.
It just
no angle, no nothing.
It was like she'd talk about this and then she'd jump over here and then she'd jump over here. And it's like, you don't even know what the problem is. You just heard that these people did this to this people and they mated because of that, and now...
And then her ending result is she's, like, upset, and then doesn't know what to do with her upsetness, so she's just going to complain about anything that pops in her mind.
But the thing was, she wasn't even, like, upset as much as she, like, felt bad about it. And it's like...
People's capacity for not truth is, I'd say it's not even astonishing. It makes sense. It's our nature, right? Like... You can name it truth, which is often difficult, right? That's the harder path, is to go, this is true, I acknowledge this, and now I'm going to deal with it. Or you can look at it delusionally and be like, I'm not quite going to look directly at that truth. I'm just going to like make up whatever I imagine it to be. This feels more right to me. I'm going to go this direction. That's never going to fruit you a positive direction. It's going to end up in your vicious cycle of like repeating negativities and never finding like true solutions to whatever it is you're plagued by.
Yeah. Yes, exactly.
People are pretty great.
Oh my God. Do you want some scotch?
Yeah.
Yeah, you want some scotch?
We're just gonna cut mid go. No cut.
We're not cutting.
Yeah, so let's talk about koalas. We mentioned this last week.
Oh my God. Actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, you're right.
Dude, no joke, koalas? Okay, so I learned two things about koalas, all right? So I learned a bunch of things about them because I watched some documentary on them. But,
dude, koalas are...
they're terrifying to me.
Last episode, we joked about wet koalas and Hassan was talking about them being scary. Look up wet koalas.
They're terrifying.
Dude, they're
legitimately terrifying.
Disgusting, dude. No rocks.
I don't care. That's fine. Dude, but yeah, as a side note, koalas sleep 22 to 23 hours a day because they eat eucalyptus, and eucalyptus is poisonous. It doesn't necessarily get them high, it just poisons them, literally.
Oh, good.
And their brain doesn't work right, so they have to digest it all day.
Okay.
Second cheers.
And
the other thing is when they mate, or when it's mating season for them, the males try to climb up a tree and they literally just scream like howler monkeys.
Good.
Watch a koala scream. It's freaking terrifying.
That is how I'm going to try and mate from here on out.
Climb trees.
Yeah, just scream
gutturally.
Good.
Yep. That'll get the ladies for sure.
Good. Ladies, I'm single.
Oh, man.
Oh, he's single.
Oh yeah. I think he's got a good tone. I think I like that one.
Let me climb that tree.
Yeah, the human mating practice is quite an interesting thing. Like if you take it from a biological standpoint, women being the selecting gender. Thank you. It makes us men do stupid shit to try to win, right? And it's all based on like what we've learned over time and everything that we're trying to evolve into. Like, what's their selecting criteria? Success is like a selecting criteria, but defining that as cultural, right? So whether or not, prime example. So in China, on most dating apps, the females are looking for a man who owns a home and owns a car. Those are like the highest criteria. And there's also less than 20% of Chinese male that meet that criteria. It's not that owning a car and owning a home inherently tells you that person is good to marry, right? But if you're going to have any criteria, it's understanding like, oh, this is the socioeconomic level that makes them successful in life. Therefore, I want just the people that do that. Right? So I'm trying to think of what we do here. Like, what's the selection criteria for an American individual?
Value. I would say mainly it's money value. So you would, because I don't think it's. I think it's current value or potential to be valuable.
Sure. And right, you can capture that in what is your socioeconomic status. What all encompasses your socioeconomic status, right?
Your ability to climb ladders, how high you are on the ladder, or your ability to climb said ladders.
Right. And isn't it, were we talking about this? I don't remember, but isn't it that like females that climb the ladder certain levels, like if they get to the highest levels, like they have almost no selection because of their own criteria of determining what they want as success.
Yeah, well, because women go cross and up socioeconomic levels, whereas men go across and down. So and that's obligatory Jordan Peterson reference. He would work with female lawyers who by their early to mid 30s would be absolutely killing it. They'd be partner, this and this, but they'd realize there was hardly anyone to marry. Right. They worked 16 to 18 hours a day, every single day.
Right. And what kind of relationship are you going to have with that?
And so he was saying many of them, I think he may even have said most of them, got out of the profession altogether. Right. Just so they could have a family. Yep. Because at their knowledge base, if they were to marry someone at that socioeconomic level, they'd have plenty enough money to raise their family.
Yeah, exactly.
That's an interesting segue.
Super. It kind of like shifts like what we do in life. These are the things that if you were 18 and you knew that information and like you were actually diligent in what you're aiming at, you'd probably shape your life differently. But we don't know this stuff growing up.
Yeah, at 18, we don't really care.
Right. And why is it that we don't care?
Well, because we're experiencing so many new things.
Right.
There's so many, it's like, and also 18-year-old partners aren't really looking at that either. At 18, it's almost like, how assertive are you in the world? What are you going for in the world? How do your peers view you? Because that's the biggest thing.
Right. That would be the socioeconomic status of the 18-year-old.
Yes, because, what is it? Your peers that's kind of what you're mainly focused on. It's like, oh, we're choosing our colleges and we're trying alcohol for the first time and heroin's great. That's a joke.
It's really great.
Yeah, it's really great. No, that's
still a joke.
Still a joke. You're getting out of the world. You're now adults. You're now fully in control of
your own decisions.
All the decisions you're making,
yep.
If you so choose. Some people will just retort back to help from their parents, but now you're now adults and you're viewing each other in that new realm, and you're like, okay, this person is sought after by male and female alike. Why? Well, they've got these criteria, these qualities. And these qualities have longevity. Yeah. And so this person will be valuable in 10, 20, 30, and 40 years from now. Right. Based on those qualities that they possess. So yes, this is a good mate.
At what point in time do we learn to shift ourselves towards dishonesty and not truth?
I would say very, very young, once we realize we can get out of harm by lying. Very, very young.
We do test the waters early.
We're talking, I'm not sure, maybe 2 years old, 2.5 years old, somewhere in there. I would say even younger. Babies learning that if they cry a certain way, they get attention from adults.
Valid.
Valid. How old is that? 8 months, 9 months, 10 months, somewhere in there.
That's interesting. And then I guess it would go to the familial level, or however you're nurtured, to determine if that's a value you hold on to or if it's a value you drop and you aim at more truthful things, right? That's intriguing.
I would think so. I think your original question had potential either directly or indirectly
Yeah.
to be like, when do we kind of commit?
Yes.
Which that's a really good question.
Yeah. I mean, we don't have a lot of time, but we can explore it a little
We
bit.
can try, yeah.
Yeah. I think for me, I know that there was plenty of choices that I made that were not useful really, really early, but they were solidified in my mind for certain feedback that I received that told me, hey, you can be dishonest in this way and it's going to do you better. And I did that from age 8 forward. And I'm now trying to reset my brain to go, hey, no. That's not useful. We need to take a step back and avoid that. So, I mean, like, I know it's that early for me, but that's also my particular upbringing, life choices, personal events, things that happen, and the things that I responded to at that age to shape me in the direction that I let it shape me. I think it's useful to take time and look at it too, right? Like, take a step back, be like, ask yourself the question, am I an honest person? And really look at that. Like, am I honest in all situations and scenarios? Do I really do that? I doubt most people will answer yes to that.
And you know what's crazy is, like, growing up, I wasn't honest, like, in the slightest bit. I would just tell, like, stories that, like, made no fucking sense.
Right.
I would just make up things.
Right.
But in my adulthood, I've really tried to be very honest. And we talked about this the other day, and I consider myself to be very, very, I would say in the probably top 15 percentile of honest people. And then I was speaking with my therapist, and he was like, I think your problem might be you're just not being honest enough, and you're creating like this false world. And I was like, since then, that was a week and a half ago that he said that, I've been viewing it. I was like, okay, I'm going to consciously look at life as though I were in like the bottom 30th percentile. And then as opposed to assuming that I'm in the 85th percentile, and just like almost assuming or pretending that I'm in the 30th percentile, which I know I'm higher than that, but I'm just pretending that I'm in the 30th percentile, looking at things through a different light makes me realize, like, I'm not completely honest about that.
Yep.
And maybe my intentions are bad. I don't want to offend that person.
Right.
Or I don't want to cause a rift here. But I'm not being honest.
No. And that has its impacts, man. This is a dynamic shift there.
What an interesting episode.
Dude, it's so weird.
Yeah.
But whatever. I still blame Xi Jinping. Winnie the Pooh is the problem for 90% of the world's issues right now. Just kidding, but not.
Here's something. Closing thought.
Yeah.
Why isn't anyone talking about the Uyghur genocide? If you think you have it bad, why aren't you focusing on the Uyghurs? They got it worse.
Dude, we just won't look at China for anything.
No, everyone's complaining about this, complaining about that.
Dude.
You got celebrities like LeBron fucking James complaining about this and that. But you won't look at the Uyghur genocide. Hypocrites. And guess what? I don't go around talking about it. No. And I haven't done really anything to fix it. So I'm a hypocrite too. But before you go around complaining about this, complaining about that, and talking about how your ancestors did this with your other ancestors, and like your life's so conflicting, you feel bad. Like,
there's real things happening in the world.
Yeah, and then it comes down, let's be honest. Let's be true.
Yes.
Like, what are the real problems? Who has it the worst?
Yeah.
And as opposed to not wanting to offend this person or offend that person, or like, how can I speak this? Like, what's the worst things going on in the world? Guess what?
Those are the things worthwhile digging into in life, right? Yeah. Most of our life, we should not be paying attention to large scale issues, right? Like, we should be focusing on first ourselves, then our immediate surrounding, then what's right around that, then our community, and then larger. Like, only a few select people can even deal with those problems. But we as individuals can begin to influence those things as being important. Let's value those things as what we're focusing on, as opposed to whatever new thing is happening immediately.
Yeah. And, But if you do get out to the bigger problems, in every problem, regardless of what strata you're in, the problem you're dealing with, honestly, truthfully, what is it? Not what do I want it to be?
Valid point.